Now on Nightside, winter officially starts in just 1 week, but I'm looking for any sign of winter snow in the forecast. I'll let you know what I found.
A home surrounded, multiple people detained, and a connection to two bodies found in northeast Spokane last Friday. The scene that unfolded in the Minnehaha neighborhood tonight. And the family of those people found dead shares how much they loved her and the legacy she leaves behind. You're watching 4 News Now, Nightside. Well, new details just breaking in the case we've been following since Friday. Multiple people were detained tonight in connection to the deaths of Kiara Morgan Wieland and Colton Russell, who were found dead in the Minnehaha neighborhood of northeast Spokane Friday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Derek Dice. Peter Choi is live at the scene where a SWAT team surrounded a home earlier tonight, telling the residents to come outside. Peter?
Yeah, that's right. The Spokane police detained multiple individuals from this house. And take a look at this behind me. Many officers are still inside the house. They're looks like they're still taking photos and start searching for something for the investigation. But here's what we know so far. Now, earlier tonight, a major crimes sergeant told us that this was related to the investigation into 2 deaths over the weekend. The department public information officer later told us that he cannot confirm that. I spoke to a man who lives right next to the house about what he saw tonight, and take a listen.
They were told, come on out. They're not under arrest at this point. There's more for questioning. And then after that, they were told again, hey, come out at this point. It's going to become obstruction of deals. And then after that, they said they might send a dog and if they don't come out. And right about, I think when they mentioned that, that's when I think the first 2 people walked out.
Now, the SWAT vehicle was here and left the scene, and Spokane police did say that they got a search warrant to the house. Again, they're still inside the house right now searching for something that we don't know what exactly they're searching for, but obviously there's not much information at this point, but we'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. Live in Spokane, Peter Choi, 4 News Now, back to you.
All right, Peter, thanks so much. Well, the family of Kiara Morgan Wieland, the woman found dead in this case on Friday, is mourning her loss and sharing her story. The 23-year-old dreamed of becoming the best mother she could be, as well as being a hair and makeup artist. She was a single mom to a 1-year-old boy and has a tight-knit family who's devastated by her loss, including 2 cousins we spoke with today.
I would tell her how much I love her and how much I missed her, because we were so close. I admired her and she was so pretty. I always remember thinking that when I was little.
Spokane police are currently investigating this incident. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Check. Now, last night, the body of another woman was found just blocks away from where Morgan Wieland and Russell were found dead. Deputies believe the only noticeable injuries on her were caused by a dog found at the scene. Her body was found in this lot at around 4 p.m. yesterday. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says the only wounds were found to her upper body. The dog found at the scene was taken by scraps and will remain impounded throughout this investigation. The recent deaths in that area have left residents feeling both fearful and frustrated. A few of them say they want to see more police presence in the area.
I used to feel safe walking my dog in my local neighborhood, but now I don't feel safe. And it's the middle of the day, but I really feel very unsafe, and I would love to see something get done about this and see more police that are able to help us in our community.
Reporting in Spokane Valley.
Now, this, of course, is also a developing story. We'll update you with any new information as soon as it becomes available. Well, still no snow expected over the next several days. Here's Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker with that first alert forecast.
It is a quiet weather pattern. Good weather if you've got a kiddo on their way home from college. I was picking mine up at the airport, and there were a lot of college kids on their way home. It is a quiet weather pattern. Partly to mostly cloudy skies Friday, dry for the weekend. The possibility of some light rain next week and mountain snow. We did have a few sprinkles down on the Palouse earlier today and woke up with a few flurries in the panhandle of Idaho, but otherwise it has been dry. We see some moisture coming off of the Pacific into western Washington, but we have high pressure that is rebuilding after the system moved through today. And as we go through Friday, you can see that wet weather is being sent well up into British Columbia. None of that will make it over the Cascades into eastern Washington. Expect dry conditions, as I mentioned, right on through the weekend. Overnight lows tonight will be dropping down into the 20s. Even though we haven't had any fresh precipitation, there's still some icy spots on those roads in the morning. So just keep your eye out for those sparkly streets. And then those will be clearing easily as we warm into the 40s. Most of the Spokane area making it into the lower 40s tomorrow. 38 in Spirit Lake, Fairchild Air Force Base, and at the airport, and 39 in Cheney. Here's a look at your Friday planner. Our average high is 34. We're going to beat that again tomorrow. Possibly some sunshine in the afternoon, but more clouds than sun. I'll be back with your 7-day outlook and an update on Super El Nino in just a few minutes, Derek.
All right, Chris, thank you. December 28th, that's when the off-campus home where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered will be torn down. For more than a year, the house has served as a constant reminder of the tragic deaths of Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, and Kaylee Gonsalves, not only for their families, but for the entire Moscow community. The university announcing today that while students are away on Christmas break, Germer Construction will begin tearing down the house at 1122 King Street. The announcement of this demolition comes almost 13 months to the day that those 4 students were murdered in their home. The university says its removal will allow the collective healing of the community to continue.
But I do think that, we had the 1-year anniversary and commemoration of the death of our students, and that was definitely a turning point and a marker for us. I think that the demolition of the house is another one of those. I think each significant event that happens is one further step toward healing. It's a long road, not only for the university and for our students, but most certainly for those families.
U of I says the demolition will only take a few days. And ahead of that demolition, Brian Koberger's defense team arrived on King Street this afternoon, getting access to the inside of the house. The defense was gathering photos, measurements, and drone footage of the area in preparation for the trial in which Koberger faces the death penalty. There's still no date set for his trial. In Crime Watch coverage now, a Rogers High School student brought a gun to school today. Campus safety managed to isolate the student and take the weapon. Police are now leading an investigation. In a letter to parents, Rogers principal John Hamill assured that safety is the administration's top priority. Well, there was a shooting at the Northtown Mall parking lot earlier today. According to Spokane police, it appeared to involve a group of young men. They say those young men ran into the mall and left 20 minutes before police arrived. Police searched the mall, found it to be safe, and gave the all clear. Major John Kaler, the man accused of killing 4 of his neighbors in Kellogg, has reached an agreement with the family members of those he allegedly killed. Kaler will now plead guilty to lesser charges, including 4 counts of second-degree murder instead of first-degree. A burglary charge will also be dismissed. Kaler is accused of killing Kenneth and Kenna Gardapi and Devin and Aiken Smith almost 6 months ago in their home. Kaler and his defense can still debate his sentencing for the 4 second-degree murder charges. A hearing is scheduled for Monday at the Shoshone County Courthouse. Well, tomorrow, the Washington Supreme Court will decide whether or not to intervene in the case of who should control the future of the Pac-12 conference. Justices could determine whether or not a lower court properly ruled in this case, which essentially gave Washington State and Oregon State universities control of the Pac-12 board of directors. WSU and OSU are the only 2 schools that have not announced their intention to leave the conference next year. The 10 departing schools argue the Whitman County judge ruled incorrectly and have asked the state Supreme Court to intervene. The court says a decision will likely be filed by the end of the day tomorrow. To learn more about each side's arguments, you can look for this story on KXLY.com. And Washington State announced its football schedule for next season. Sports Director Julian Minnesone is here to show us what we can expect for the Cougs in 2024.
This time last month, we didn't think we'd ever have a schedule for next season for Washington State football, so just having games to look forward to is a win. The Crimson games are the home games. The ones in gray are the road games. Washington State opens the season at home against Portland State on August 31st. And that will be followed by a marquee matchup everyone's talking about, Texas Tech in Pullman, just 1 week later. Dates have also been confirmed for the Apple Cup against Washington, a home game against San Jose State, and a road game against the other Pac-2 opponent, Oregon State. Now, opponents and locations for the remaining games are set, but dates for those games will be announced in the coming months. In addition to the previously scheduled games against San Jose State and San Diego State, the Cougars will play 6 games against Mountain West opponents, 3 home games and 3 away games. This is part of the football scheduling agreement with the conference. And Washington State and Oregon State will not be eligible for a Mountain West Conference championship. They are competing as independent universities under the Pac-12 name. Reporting in the studio, Julia Minensong, 4 News Now Sports.
All right, still to come here on Nightside, why the future of Spokane's largest homeless shelter, is looking a little more stable for now. Protesters poured out across the Northwest, blocking bridges to demand a ceasefire in Gaza.
Pick of the night tonight. I love this one from Jerry Kaiser. This is the grain train down on the Palouse. Jerry caught up with it between Garfield and Palouse in the Eden Valley. Even though the harvest is long over, our farmers are still working hard to get their product to the marketplace. I'll be back with your 7-day forecast.
Connect with 4 News Now on KXLY+. 4 News Now is brought to you by Clark's Diamond Jewelers.
Whatever the holidays mean to you, get the most out of them in a new Honda. Whether it's taking in the lights with all your friends in a spacious Accord, or taking in a snow day in a rugged CRV. Your holiday adventure awaits with a new Honda during Happy Honda Days. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
Stay safe while traveling this winter. Before you head out, trust the First Alert weather team to pinpoint the safest times to go and exactly what to expect. 4 News Now First Alert weather on air, on the app, and streaming on KXLY+.
You're feeding it.
I will, I promise. Thanks to our Premier Rewards Visa credit card from ICCU, we earned enough cash back to stock up on puppy supplies.
But we don't have a puppy. They're very convincing children.
I was only planning to jingle some of the way tonight, but now I think I might be jingling all the way for you.
It's never too early for late night cheer.
How satisfied are you with your visit with us?
I'm not satisfied.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
Whatever your plans are this season, do more in a new Chevy. Get 2.1% financing on all 2024 Blazer models, or use your Red Tag bonus cash to get $1,500 total cash allowance. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Visit Downtown Coeur d'Alene this holiday season.
Well, the art market Bazaar is taking over 3 floors of River Park Square this weekend. It is the winter version of the Bazaar that takes place in downtown Spokane every summer. 4 News Now got a sneak peek at some of the art that will be on display this year. Bazaar features thousands of handcrafted items like jewelry, leather goods, and clothing, all made by local artists. The whole thing put on by the art organization Terrain. The nonprofit's executive director says all vendors at Bazaar are required to sell half of their items for $100 or less in order to make art more accessible and create an opportunity for local artists to connect with the community.
The idea behind that is artists can kind of build relationships with their customers. Customers can bring something meaningful into their homes, and art can be accessible for anybody, no matter your budget.
Along with shopping for specialty goods, you can also enjoy live music and family fun activities. It's happening this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Well, tomorrow is the grand opening of Schweitzer's new Creekside Express chairlift and ski bridge. The new high-speed quad replaces the old chairlift for the resort's beginner slope musical chairs. For those of you who know Schweitzer, the resort says the new lift will double capacity and cut the ride time in half. Schweitzer folks are awfully excited about that.
It is going to be amazing. I didn't know they we're going to have that cool bridge.
I didn't until today either, actually. Yeah, just watching some of that drone video is pretty cool, though.
That is amazing. Ski season is upon us now. We just need a little more snow. Yes, let's take a look at your forecast for tonight. Mostly cloudy, 27 for an overnight low. Partly cloudy tomorrow with a high of 38 degrees. Might see a little bit of sunshine. We're going to be dry through the weekend with that mix of sun and clouds, occasional fog, and then we bring in the chance of some precipitation as we get into early next week. I don't love our odds. Here's a look at our forecast radar. Getting into Monday, 3 p.m. You can see that precipitation coming up from the south, and then we'll just see these little hit and miss areas of a rain snow mix Monday, and then a little bit of light rain on Tuesday. El Nino, super El Nino, could be the top 5 strongest since 1950 with a 57% chance of reaching historical strength, maybe the strongest ever. How will that impact us, though? That is the question that is a little in question, because El Nino has different impacts. Now, historically, it causes warmer than normal conditions over the Pacific Northwest, and that is almost a slam dunk. And then mostly that very active southern branch of the jet stream keeps the wetter weather to the south. And that's where during a strong El Nino, we've had a little bit of difference. In fact, in most strong El Nino years, we end up with above average precipitation, even though we trend drier than average during an El Nino. Certainly, we're having drier than average weather here in the last week, even though we started off December with fabulously wet conditions. We do have a chance of below average precipitation through Christmas week with that traditional active southern branch of the jet taking all the moisture to the south. Again, above average temperatures during an El Nino year is almost a certainty, and we have a good chance of that through that Christmas week as well. Every day I come in, our odds of a white Christmas look a little bit dimmer. I think they're getting awfully close to zero unless something very strange happens between now and then. Your planning forecast for Friday, partly cloudy skies and 38. Dry for the weekend with that sort of gray sky and possibly a little bit of sunshine. We have a hint of precipitation Monday and Tuesday, a better chance to see some snow in the mountains than seeing any precipitation, rain or snow in the valleys. Winter officially starts on Thursday, and it's going to be close to 40 degrees in Spokane, temperatures above average through the 7-day forecast. So this is going to be one of those winters, I think.
Right, and you don't want to complain about this type of weather, but we also want a little bit of snow for a white Christmas at this time of year, right?
Yeah, well, we'll just see what happens just beyond here. But I don't think the odds are good.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, the Red Kettle Drive for the Coeur d'Alene Salvation Army is urgently looking for more donations, saying it's only raised a little more than a third of its goal. The Red Kettle Drive is used to raise money for essential services like mental health treatment, providing warm clothes in the winter, food for food banks, and more. And with only 2 weeks left to fundraise, it's well short of its $245,000 goal, meaning some winter services could be at risk. One reason they think they're falling short is the state of the economy.
Inflation is very high. It's really hard on families, and that leads to what we see going on. When the need is greater and the economy is not as good, then the donations go down.
The Salvation Army in Spokane says it's facing the same issue, only meeting about half of its goal. Donations will be accepted until Christmas Eve. Spokane's largest homeless shelter will remain open until the end of April. The City Council approving the extension of the Salvation Army's contract to run the Trent Resource Center today, also known as TRAC. Some City Council members say the shelter isn't perfect, but it's important that it remains open.
This is still complicated. It has not been solved. This is a Band-Aid until we get more data and how we move forward and how we fund it, but we do not want anyone on the streets.
The new contract will cost the city $3.2 million. Protesters from the group Jewish Voices for Peace blocked both sides of Seattle's University Bridge with an 18-foot menorah tonight, demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Similar protests unfolded across the U.S., including in Portland, where the Oregon chapter of Jewish Voices for Peace shut down the Burnside Bridge. And as concern grows about the well-being of civilians and hostages, the Biden administration faces pressure from Americans to lessen the number of people being killed. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has the story.
A high-stakes meeting in Israel. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan urging Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to scale back the military operation in Gaza amid a soaring civilian death toll.
He did talk about possible transitioning from what we would call high-intensity operations, which is what we're seeing them do now, to lower-intensity operations sometime, in the near future.
World leaders still focused on getting hostages home. ABC News speaking to freed hostage Raz Ben Ami. Released from Hamas captivity just 2 weeks ago, her husband is still being held hostage.
How can I be okay when he's there and I'm here? And we miss him. We want our family back together. That's what we want. That's all we want.
President Biden facing mounting questions on the bombing taking place in Gaza as the U.S. continues to give Israel military aid.
I want them to be focused on how to save civilian lives, not stop going after Hamas, but be more careful.
Aid for Israel currently tied up in Congress as lawmakers negotiate over additional aid for Ukraine and security at the southern border. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announcing the Senate will delay its holiday recess to keep talks going.
This might be one of the most difficult things we have ever had to work through, but we all know that so much hangs on our success. We know the world is watching.
Back in Israel, Roz tells us she is so traumatized from her hostage ordeal, she has not shared the details with her daughters. She says she will continue to fight for her husband's safe return.
I just want him back. All the hostages I want back. It's not fair.
Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, your college student could be struggling with their mental health more than you know. The surprising statistics next on Nightside.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. The big beefy boy that started it all. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on our next job. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXLY.com to nominate it. Our thanks to Horizon Credit Union for sponsoring the 4 News Now Extreme Team.
My darling granddaughter, this camera was given to me when I was your age. May it capture your big, beautiful life the way it did mine.
It's so surprising what the little things can do. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody...
Oh, Merry Christmas, Grandma.
This holiday season, Walker's Furniture and Anton Watson are teaming up with the help of KXLY to give some person or family in need the gift of a better night's sleep.
My favorite color is purple.
Just go to KXLY.com and nominate the person or family who could use a new mattress. And on December 21st, we'll announce the winner.
Thank you, KXLY, for helping Walker's Furniture and myself spread the word for this great cause. Together, we can make a difference.
Stay safe while traveling this winter. Before you head out, trust the First Alert weather team to pinpoint the safest times to go and exactly what to expect. 4 News Now First Alert weather on air, on the app, and streaming on KXLY Plus.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. A classic, a favorite, an Arby's legend. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
4 News Now is brought to you by $1 Million Quartet Christmas. 2 shows December 23rd.
Thanks for staying up with us here on Nightside. For many college students, the holiday season means a stressful end of the semester with final exams. Psychologists warn parents not to underestimate how frequently your kids express mental health concerns. A report by United Healthcare Insurance found 41% of students reported experiencing depression, while only 22% of those students' parents reported that their child was struggling. With barriers to mental health services, experts say better education should be provided to increase student awareness of available services. Parents, healthcare providers, and colleges can all play a role. And if you or someone you love is struggling with an urgent mental health crisis, text or call the crisis line at 988. Free help is available 24/7. A new study may have found the secret to morning sickness. Researchers say the amount of a single hormone, GDF-15, in a woman's blood during pregnancy may be responsible, and it might dictate how severe her symptoms will be. The study's authors say this discovery could help lead to better treatments for severe cases of morning sickness. An experimental cancer vaccine is showing benefits against fighting melanoma. 3 years after receiving a Moderna vaccine, along with immunotherapy, participants had an almost 50% lower risk of skin cancer coming back or of death. The therapies have not been peer-reviewed or published in a professional journal yet. About a quarter of participants did report serious adverse events related to the treatment. Moderna's CEO says the company is preparing for the therapy to be approved as soon as 2025. According to the American Cancer Society, melanoma accounts for about 1% of all skin users, but it causes a majority of skin cancer deaths. Well, what do you think is the best holiday movie? 4 News Now is doing a friendly competition to decide the most popular one this time of year. 32 movies are going head-to-head in the first round. The voting ends tomorrow night, so vote for your favorite now on KXLY.com/holiday movies. Lots of good ones to choose from. Well, the football schedule is finally set. Now, WSU basketball is a step closer to finalizing its schedule for next season. We have the latest on the Cougars' plan once the Pac-12 disbands. Next is sports.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Revival Wellness Clinic.
Houston police say the 16-year-old shot both of his parents.
Now, Friday night, inside the courtroom, and the shocking new evidence that came in just days before the trial began.
You gotta be kidding me. Whose blood is this?
I couldn't even fathom the idea of killing my parents.
Everything points to him.
All new 2020, Friday night at 9/8 Central on ABC.
The holidays inspire us all to connect. With family, with friends, no matter what the road throws at you. So find the connection you're looking for this winter in a new SUV with standard all-wheel drive during the Mazda Season of Inspiration sales event.
Right now at Foothills Mazda, get 0% financing for 5 years and 0 down payment with approved credit on the all-wheel drive Mazda CX-5. Shop now at SpokaneMazda.com.
Your whole health is more than what you find at the doctor's office, because it's all around you. The food you eat, what makes you happy, and what keeps you up at night. The place you call home. It's why we created a health insurance company that considers so much more. WellPoint, your whole health is our whole point.
Since I was 14, I have been addicted to one substance or another. I know that it may seem hard to finally take that first step, but once you do, it's like running down a mountain and everything snowballs, and the Lord works in the best ways, opening doors for you that you never thought possible. Just reach out your hand. Someone will be there to take it.
WSU's 2024 football schedule is set, and despite the Pac-12 becoming the Pac-2, there's no shortage of marquee matchups. Our sports team of Julian Minnesone and Alex Crescenti break it all down.
When you think about where this program is at right now, on the outside looking in when it comes to conference realignment, to have games on the schedule, some against power conference opponent, that's an absolute win.
Yeah, Washington State has made it known a lot here lately that they want to play at the highest levels of college football and compete for a spot in the expanded playoff next year, and I think the schedule does that.
Yeah, here's the schedule. The home games are in crimson. Road games are in gray. Washington State opens the season at home against Portland State on August 31st. That will be followed by a marquee matchup against Texas Tech in Pullman just 1 week later. Dates have also been confirmed for the Apple Cup rivalry game against Washington at Lumen Field in Seattle, a home game against San Jose State, and a road game against Oregon State. Opponents and locations for the remaining games are set, but dates for those games will be announced in the coming months. Now, in addition to the previously scheduled games against San Jose State and San Diego State, the Cougars will play 6 games against Mountain West opponents, 3 home and 3 away. This is part of the football scheduling agreement with the conference. So, Alex, we have the schedule here. Right. What catches your eye when you look at it?
Yeah, of course we know the big marquee games, Texas Tech, Washington for the Apple Cup, and then Oregon State. But it's the Mountain West slate that's very interesting here. You got some pretty winnable games at home between San Jose State, Utah State, Wyoming, and Hawaii. And that's also based off of what we know about these rosters right now. But the away games, those are a little bit tricky here. At San Diego State, at Boise State in the blue turf, at New Mexico, and then at Fresno State, all very notoriously hard places to play in the Mountain West. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare over these 12 games or so.
Yeah, tough indeed. It should be of note that WSU and OSU will not be eligible for a Mountain West championship. They are competing as independent schools, so that means if they want to make a college football playoff, Jake Dicker talked about it, that's the goal. They're going to have to get one of those at-large spots, and with the conferences shifting, it'll be interesting to see how many at-large spots are allocated with the expanded playoff. But if you go 11-1 here, Alex, yeah, that puts you in the conversation.
You'll have a really good shot at maybe being in the teens when it comes to those rankings. Of course, we know that the committee, they like to, play some games here. So who knows where WSU could be ranked if they go 11-1.
It's not just about football, though. According to college basketball insider John Rothstein, Washington State and Oregon State are in talks with the Mountain West to join the league for the 2024-25 season. There is no timetable on an announcement. This is the last season, of course, for WSU and OSU before the Pac-12 disbands. So as of now, there are 5 Mountain West teams in the top 50 of the net rankings. Pretty good. We have a pretty big basketball game on Friday. Gonzaga will be taking on defending champion UConn in Seattle, a rematch of last season's Elite Eight, in which the Huskies knocked out the Zags. We'll have live coverage from Seattle before and after the game here on 4 News Now. That'll do it for sports.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
Roundup's like an accidental savings account.
But how much can you really save?
Yeah, I mean,
whoa.
Tis the season for big mattress savings during the year-end inventory reduction sale at Walker's.
Find your comfort on a new Beautyrest Black Hybrid or save big on Hot Buy mattresses. Plus save 25% on Beautyrest Harmony year-end model close-ups. And say yes to no money down. No minimum purchase financing for up to 5 years.
Plus, get $300 of additional free furniture with qualifying mattress purchases, making it a season to remember during the year-end sale at Walker's.
I mean, enough with the cold feet. It's time to move this along. Take the next step.
I hear you. You're tired of waiting.
Yes.
But at Eyeglass World, you don't have to wait. They're not like all those other guys. They make your glasses right there in their same-day lab.
No waiting?
Mm-mm.
Do you mind if I go?
You mind if I finish your cannoli?
For a limited time, get 50% off lenses with frames from many of our designer brands. It's the designer sale, only at Eyeglass World.
This may look like a holiday shopping showdown, but it's a Nissan sales event ad. Good thing my Rogue has intelligent all-wheel drive.
So does my Altima.
Now get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months or save up to $3,000 on the 2023 Nissan Rogue. Better hurry. These offers won't be back in stock.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
There's a look at your 7-day forecast. Dry through the weekend and then a little bit of wet weather Monday and Tuesday. No big storms. No use for your snowblower or any sort of major wet winter purchase that you made to make your life easier.
But yeah, easy to drive around it, like you said earlier. So that is the plus. Just, you know, a white Christmas, we're not so sure.
No.
All right, that's going to do us here on Nightside. Don't forget, Good Morning North.